Hello dear viewers, welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video we will be talking about starter motor solenoids. As you can see here, they all come in different shapes and sizes. So electrically they are attached. These starter motor solenoids, they are attached to the starter motor that they are operating. For example, here you can see a starter motor solenoid that is attached to the starter motor that it is operating. So basically there is two functions to be performed by the starter motor. Here we have the pinion. The pinion will be engaged to the flywheel by the solenoid switch. So the solenoid switch will magnetically operate a plunger that is moving here and there, and that will actuate the pinion to engage with the flywheel. And the other task that these solenoids do, they will switch on a large current carrying circuit between this terminal and this terminal, and so they will also perform electrical task. Now in this video we are going to see how that is operated. Now in this video we are going to see how solenoid switches are constructed and the components that they have. When you look at the terminals that is available on the solenoid switch, basically there are four terminals. The body will be acting like a ground, that is ground terminal, and we have terminal 30, this bolt, terminal 30, it is coming from the starter motor battery positive, so this will be terminal 30, and we have terminal 50 here. This is a line coming from the starter, this is a line coming from the ignition switch start terminal. So this is the one that will be powered when we are going to crank our engine. And we have terminal C. This line is the one that is joining terminal 30 to the field circuit of the starter motor. So these are basically the four terminals that are available. The ground bodies will be the ground, terminal 30, terminal C, and terminal 50. Now in here, inside the solenoid switch, there are coils. There are magnetic coils. This one is disassembled. When you take it out, there are magnetic coils. There are basically two coils, the pull-in winding and the hold-in winding. There are two coils in here with one of their terminal connected to terminal 50 and the other terminal connected to the body ground and terminal C. Now when we see those two terminals, those two windings, the two windings, they are energized. When their magnetism is assisting each other, the total magnetism will pull the plunger into the solenoid assembly. So when the hold-in winding and the pull-in winding are assisting each other, and when their magnetism is in a similar direction, that magnetism will overcome the spring force and it will pull in the plunger. So you can see when it is magnetized, this will be pulled into the solenoid housing. Now in order to do that, there is magnetic connection, there is electrical connection that has to be powered. Now when we look at the coils, we have coils. Those coils are powered in such a manner. For example, have a look at here. Let's say this line is going to terminal 50. Terminal 50 is a common terminal for the hold-in and the pull-in winding. And finally we have two of them here. One will be the hold-in winding and one will be the pull-in winding. Now the way it is connected is the hold-in winding will be directly ground to the terminal here. See, the hold-in winding is directly grounded to the body. The pull-in winding, which is missing here, will come and it gets connected to terminal C. Look at here, for example. It is soldered to terminal C. So this is how they are connected. So terminal 50 will be a common terminal for both hold-in and pull-in, and when it comes to their ground, hold-in will be directly grounded to the body of the solenoid switch, whereas the pull-in winding will be grounded connected to terminal C here. So this is how they are connected. And as you can see on a terminal 30 there is absolutely no connection. Now the solenoid switch, besides doing mechanical job of engaging the pinion to the flywheel, it will also do electrical task. Look, for example, when this coil is energized here, this armature will be pulled in. When it is pulled in, see, it is taking this copper contact. So when this is magnetized, this copper contact will move to the back. So what will it do? This copper contact will be contacting terminal 30 and terminal C. See here? Internally in here there are contacts. Is it visible on the camera? Yeah, I hope it is visible. Let me make it more clear. See, here we have plates, we have terminals. So when this is energized and when it is pulled like so, look, when it is pulled like so, it will join these two terminals. So terminal 30 will be shorted to terminal C when the solenoid switch is magnetized. So the solenoid switch, besides doing mechanical job of pulling the pinion, it will also turn current flow between terminal C and terminal 30 to be turned on. It will short terminal 30 to terminal C once the solenoid switch is pulled in. It is a spring-loaded. So this is a contact plate. So when this is energized, it will move back, and by doing so, it will contact these two, terminal C and terminal 30. So these two bolts will be connected when that contact plate contacts here. So that is how it is operating. So when power is given to terminal 50, when power is applied to the terminal 50 of the solenoid switch, it will get magnetized, and when it gets magnetized, this will be contacting the two. So when this moves out, see, you can hear it. This is how it operates. It will be sitting in here and it will be contacting terminal C to terminal 30. Now, in order to inspect the operation of this, if you are asked to inspect the operation of this, you will be checking by using continuity. You will measure resistance between terminal 50 and the body ground. That will give you the resistance of the holding winding. You will measure resistance between terminal 50 and terminal C. That will give you the resistance of the pulling winding. And also you will check whether there is continuity with this line. If there are any stuck terminals, you are going to inspect. So that is the inspection. For example, let's measure for this one. For example, in order to check, bring your multimeter to ohms setting. Now, let's measure resistance between terminals 50 and ground. See, it is reading 1.2 ohms. And between terminal 50 and terminal C, see, it is reading 1.4 ohms. So it means the coil has continuity. This will be functional. So this way you can check continuity. Now what will happen is, when the ignition switch is turned to start position, when power is applied to the terminal 50, current will flow through the holding winding and gets ground, and current will flow through the pulling winding and comes to the terminal C. If terminal C is grounded, both holding and pulling winding are assisting each other. Now remember, when initially, due to the large spring force, pulling the armature into the housing assembly will require large force compared to keeping it there. Once it is pulled in, holding it in place requires relatively less amount of force. So the holding will continue supplying that holding force, whereas the pulling will be turned off once the whole assembly is pulled in. Now let's see that in action. Now let me show you what I mean by that. When terminal 50 is supplied with battery positive and body will be grounded, the holding winding will be complete. Now when terminal 50 is supplied with power and the terminal C is grounded, the pull-in circuit will be complete. If only the holding winding is activated initially, sometimes the starter motor solenoid will not have strong magnetism to pull in this assembly. Let us see, for example. Well, this is battery negative and this one is battery positive. We have 12 volt here. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's put it here, grounding the holding winding. See, there is no enough magnetism to pull the armature into the solenoid switch. Less magnetism. Now let's do it like so. Now let's turn off the power and supply ground to terminal C. As you can see here, terminal C is connected to the pull-in winding. Here we have a solder that is coming out and getting connected to terminal C. That is how you identify terminal C from terminal 30, by the way. Terminal C has this line, this soldering coming from the pull-in winding, whereas terminal 30 has nothing. Now let's power it up. Let's put this in here. You see there is a spring-loaded mechanism that will turn on the contact between terminal C and terminal 30. Let's put it in such a manner. Now, pulling this and contacting it requires large effort. As you can see, we have supplied power to the holding winding. Holding was not sufficient. Now let's ground this line and let's ground it and see whether there is any change when power is supplied. Let's make some contact like this. Let's ground it together with okay, now let's power it up. Let's hold it in such a manner. Now let me supply power to terminal 50. Now let's ground the pull-in winding as well as the holding winding and see if there is any change. See, now we are able to pull the armature into the solenoid switch. The plunger is pulled into the solenoid housing. So when two of the coils are assisting each other, we can have a strong force that pulls the entire assembly. Now let's connect terminal C to ground and see the difference. This is the main ground. So by grounding this, holding is grounded. Now when I give it power, it's not strong enough to pull. Now let's take this cable, which is connected to terminal C, and give it to ground and see. And when I release this, it will remain there. When this is released, it will go back. So when the two coils are assisting each other, there will be a strong magnetism that can overcome a spring force and pull this plunger. So when pull-in is powered, when both are powered, the spring force will be overcome by the magnetism. Look, hold in. So it is the solenoid that is producing that clashing sound when you are turning the ignition switch to the start position. This will engage the pinion to the flywheel, and then it will also connect terminal 30 to terminal C so that large amount of current can flow to the starter motor field. Now when this is pulled in and when this is activated, we have continuity between these two. In order to see that, let's put multimeter on continuity. So that contact will be happening between terminal 30 and terminal C. Let's see that contact. Let's hold our multimeter in here. Let's press it down. See? Now it is when this plunger is pulled into the solenoid switch, it will activate the contact plate that connects terminal 30 to terminal C. Let us see by pressing on this, let us see if there is continuity between these two terminals. Put your multimeter to continuity and then hold one here, hold the other here, and let's press it down. See? So this is how it is happening. So the solenoid switch will also perform electrical job. So the solenoid switch will perform two tasks. Remember this. One is mechanically activating the pinion gear so that it will move out and engage to the flywheel by acting on the fork. There is a fork. By pulling on this fork that is pivoted here, by pulling on this fork, we can engage the pinion to the flywheel. That is done by the solenoid switch. And the other task, by using this contact plate, it will turn current flow from terminal 30 to terminal C. So terminal 30 will be shorted to terminal C by the help of these contact plates. So this is how you inspect operation of the solenoid switch, and this is how they perform their task. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you will be notified whenever we come up with another video. Till then, stay safe.